Cool. So just for context, we're reviewing you playing Ashe on Blizzard World. You are high diamond. Is that the case?
I'm Diamond 5 at the time of this video.
Okay, diamond
Yeah.
five. So diamond five, and then your duo partner was Mercy, who is Masters five.
Masters 5, yep.
Got it. Got it. Okay, and this is on PC. Great. So I did a pre-watch of about half of this video. I watched the first few minutes and then watched the ending part. And I think the real key here in terms of like the questions that you kind of asked, which is like, oh, like you're playing games, you're losing some games that you feel like you should be winning. You kind of feel like maybe your team's at fault, but you're the only ones in every single game, so you have to at least have some part of it. I think that it's actually probably two things that I would highlight. Number one, which I think is relatively easy to fix, is just overall awareness of like where you should be focusing your attention to. And I think it's gonna be very clear in some of the fights. Like if you just shot somebody different or like cleared a high ground, it would completely change the nature of the fight. And usually have plenty of health and resources to do so. That's number one. Number two is when you're queued with a partner, like a dual partner, the other team also gets a dual partner. So I actually ran into this problem in Overwatch 1 where I queued with somebody else where both of us were diamond and we both were like basically 50-50 stuck in diamond. It was very frustrating. We eventually stopped playing together. We're still friends, stopped playing to each other. And then both of us got the Grandmaster separately. And we both pointed out how much easier the games were when we queued separately than queued together. And our number one theory is when you queue together, there's also a duo on the other team, which means the other team is more coordinated and they respond quicker and they have better planning than an average random, everyone's a solo queuer. And because we weren't explicitly trying to work together, we were just like, doing our regular thing, we were at a disadvantage. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yep.
The other thing I would note, and I've gotten this from a few people recently who have been duoing, is it's often like a tank in a support or a DPS in a support, is that the support disproportionately gives resources to the one they're queued with, which makes sense, right? That's the reason why you're playing together. But that can actually be a problem because the other team members of your team don't get resources the way they normally would. So, for example, one that really stands out to me recently was there was an Ana and a tank, and the Ana was giving every single nano to the tank, despite the fact that they had a Genji on their team. So every Genji blade did not have nano, even in scenarios where the other team just kited the Rhine away, which was the tank, and the Genji would have killed them all with nano blade. So that's just something to think about. I don't know that anything jumped out to me when I was looking through the replay, but it might as we go through this. Just thinking about that, if your partner overly focuses you, that could itself become a problem.
Gotcha. Yep.
All right, let's play this through. You're gonna step up. This is totally normal. Okay, you see high ground. All right, kill turret. Great. So just as a moment to check in here. So we're gonna talk about aim at moments in time. Missing those shots doesn't matter to me at all. Don't care. Literally no value. It's extraordinarily unlikely you would ever get a kill in this situation. Even if you had a headshot right away, the Zen would get behind cover. Like that stuff I don't worry about at all. But there might be times where I'm like, you really need to hit these shots.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a good dynamite. Dynamite has a long cooldown, right? It's 11 seconds and it's really, really good at farming Bob. You toss this dynamite and it popped right here. So the Rhine would have to be standing around this corner unshielded, which is like a near zero chance of that happening. Even if the Rhine was standing here, okay, I think you actually do end up burning him. It's only one hero, and you get minus 30% ult charge for that. So I would probably save Dynamite until you can get in here, and for example, chuck Dynamite up here. Dynamite up here, massive value, right? It immediately forces Ana to have to throw a grenade, which is really, really big. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So it's okay to not just like throw cooldowns right away. Just hold them a little bit longer. Rhine goes in. So at that moment when the Rhine goes in, I think it's actually totally fine to shoot the Rhine. I mean, this Rhine is very overextended, and you could probably get some good damage. At this moment in time, and this is where I talked about in terms of awareness, you're shooting the Zen and Torb who are very, very far away. But in reality, you should actually be shooting high ground, because the Ana and Sojourn are both very extended right now, and you got good line of sight on them. The problem over here is that they're very far away, so you're like basically smaller targets, so less likely to hit them, and they have really good cover. The people on high ground are very exposed and don't have cover, right? So you hit a headshot on one of them, they're immediately in like runaway mode, right? Even a body shot puts them in serious like danger. Make sense?
Right. Yep.
So little things like that, just like spending your time shooting the wrong people, really add up over the course of the fight. So again, right now, not relevant. So you get slept here, your Doom goes in. This is fine, no big deal. Eating sleeps is not a big deal. Try not to eat fire strikes. It builds his up charge really quickly. This is like a little bit of waste of time. Like, you're being pocketed by the Mercy. she's going to heal you fast enough. You need to go for the mini. So just trying to maximize your uptime of like, hey, look, I could have immediately like taken a couple shots right here. For example, at the Ana, instead of walking to this mini, yeah, it's a big deal, especially for Ashe, where you have such high impact on your shots, right? This is an example of the kills you get. The Zen's clearly out of position, good flank, good kill, great. The fight should be basically 1 round, right? This is now a 5-on-4 situation. The coach come away, which is okay. I think you actually could have baited him further and kept shooting here because he's unlikely to walk towards you, but you also got out Fire Strike, so I think it's fine. By the way, just start speaking if you ever want me to pause and you have a question or something.
Yeah, for sure. No, we're good so far.
Okay, so this is another example of dynamite where you need to get way more value out of dynamite. I don't want to dynamite this Rhine, right? Again, dynamite does, it's like 50 plus 100 damage, right? It's like 150 damage. It's crazy. It's like the highest non-ultimate damage ability in the game besides like Disruptor from Sojourn. I want you to chuck this dynamite out here and pop it like on the Ana. Again, Ana has no way to heal herself besides Grenade, and Grenade is one of the highest impact abilities in the game. If she's forced to grenade herself, massive value. Even though you're like, oh, I didn't get a kill, it's still really, really big to prevent her from nading your team. And I think she actually doesn't have nade right now. Yeah, she doesn't have nade right now.
I think what I was thinking here was like, I don't, like, I have to move past this Rhine to be able to attack them safely, so I was just trying to get it on CD to get ult charge, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I should have tried to hit it on them.
Right, so if we pause right here, we look at it, this Rhine has to go backwards, okay? There's no way, unless he gets nano, that he can stand right here. Your Doom is in your face, your Genji is behind him, okay? And your whole team is kind of pressuring from front. The Rhine, this is not like a tenable position for the Rhine. He has to back up around the corner. Right? It would look like he's very clearly backing up because there's just no way that he can stand here. So reading where the fight's going to go is a very important, skill to develop. And that's one of the reasons why I can play quite well on heroes that I'm mechanically not very good at, because I simply know how the fight's going to play. Even though I'm not good at executing necessarily on whatever hero I'm at, I know how the fight is going to go. So this is a critical moment right now where, again, if you had dynamite and you'd saved it, and you chuck dynamite up here, this Sojourn is dead. Right? She actually has less than 150 health right now. Even if you don't even body shot her, right, or to hit her at all, if you just hit her with the dynamite, she has to run all the way back to her team and no one's looking at her. Does she probably live? Yeah, maybe, but remember that you killed the Zen earlier. So the Ana is currently focused on keeping the Rhine up, right, trying to look at your team, keeping the Torb. If the Sojourn comes in, she might die here, and at a minimum, it diverts the Ana, the single hero left's attention. Right? Remember that killing the Torb was huge because now there's no sustain for the Ana.
Right.
So I would have liked to see you challenge that. So right now, with Coach Gun, I would go up there. Because I see my Genji go, and looking for 2-on-1s is really, really important as DPS, right? Always make fights unfair. No need to ego 1v1 challenge when you don't need to. Go here, right? Coach Gun up, and then you and the Genji, quick, easy kill here. Right? You see how the soldier doesn't die, right? It takes her a while. Like, eventually she gets a kill. You could have confirmed that kill much faster, which means your Genji and you are now getting back into the fight. This spot is also pretty good at going after the Ana, okay? Because she's probably, as your team pushes in from right side, going to play this side and eventually play over here, which is an excellent sight line from the high ground here. Make sense?
Yep.
So you've decided to go wide left, which is okay, but it's not great because you have to shoot through the Torb and the Rhine to go after the Ana. Right, you go after the Ana. That's a weird time to reload, right? You see you have, I think, 4 ammo over here. This is a kill you gotta make.
Yeah, that's a problem that I see pretty consistently in my clips, is that I pretty frequently miss, like, I'll do a really good job at getting someone like down to 1, and then the shot that I have to make to kill them, I miss.
Yeah.
And then they get away.
Yep. So that's I mean, obviously I'm not going to be able to say anything right now that's going to fix that issue. One thing I would advise is after you do a scope shot, it's very common if you see top level Ashe players to unscope and immediately start shooting, because you can fire a lot faster. And so, for example, on this Ana, right, right here, you could just unscoped, right, just like not scope, just hip fired basically, and just fired like your 4 shots at her very, very quickly, and she's almost guaranteed to die. Right, with 4 shots, I'm pretty sure you're going to hit her once if you just rapid fire.
Yeah.
So something to think about. I think Coach Gun there is fine. Yep, just keep him off you, just in case he gets pinned, and then this fight should basically be won. Alright, so we're great here. Zen has died. This is a really good kill on the Ana. Yep. So this part right here, I presume you have not seen, certainly my Blizzard World guide, but any guide on how to play Blizzard World?
No.
Okay.
I
So
actually don't think I've seen any map guides other than like Dorado.
okay, so for Blizzard World, the second point high ground is unbelievably powerful. It is virtually impossible. I can't remember seeing a game where a team has ever successfully capped this without clearing or taking high ground. Because over here it doesn't seem so important, but once the cart gets over here, like how do you deal with getting shot from all of these possible angles? Okay?
Yeah.
So it's actually a very common mistake that teams will try to contest here, but you should not contest here because you actually want to pull the cart in and have the much favorable high ground here, and then once the cart gets over here, it is death, right? It's very common that the other team plays like a brawl tank, and the brawl tank is running down the road being like, oh, I'm doing such a great job, and then the DPS is stand up here and kill all the supports in the back. And the brawl tank's left alive at full health being like, oh, how do I win the game? My team keeps dying. So
Right.
as Ashe in particular, you should be taking the high ground right away. After you were capping that point, you should have gone up here and took this away from them. You plus the Mercy, easy peel from the Soldier, right? She cannot contest that, which forces her down. Then you stay high ground, right? Get over here, go after the back line, whatever you need to do. It gets really scary, you can coach gun off. But very, very, very important to take high ground. And I think we're going to see how relevant that is pretty soon.
Yeah, I think the Sojourn gives us a bit of an issue here.
Just shooting. I mean, again, like it would have been nice if you got to kill the Risa there. Not necessary. After you hit that headshot, that's a great moment where you could just unscope and just go body shot, and she dies. Right? Like quick pow pow pow. Because you can, there's no cooldown if you unscope, I believe. I don't play Ashe very much, but I'm pretty sure you can shoot immediately after unscoping. So the Sojourn's on high ground. Again, I think when you're being pocketed, you should also be more aggressive, right? Be more aggressive than you would be if you didn't have a pocket. If I see the Sojourn here, I think it's perfectly reasonable to just walk up here and just coach gun up and immediately start fighting her. With no energy, she's not dangerous, right? You also have dynamite. Alright, Doom kills the Sojourn, which is great. So it is not your job to move cart right now. The Ana should be doing it. Don't worry about the speed of the cart. The most important thing is take space. I think that's a very common problem once people start hitting diamond is the habits of like just getting kills. But the thing is, once you start hitting diamond, players get better at staying alive and you don't get free kills as often. So it's more about taking space and denying them good position. Okay, no one on the defending team should die right now. It's like it's a huge throw if anyone dies right now. They should not die. But they might be able to get in position to make your life really, really hard, which I think, again, is what's going to happen next. I think it's a waste of dynamite that. Again, look at, like, if you hit 3-4 people with a dynamite, that's 600 damage. If you dynamite this, it's like actually massive, which also can get people low, so Genji can get kills. See, now the Soldier's going after your backline, which slows down your Ana, and then your Zen's gonna end up dying here. So this causes a chain reaction problems. Right? Your Ana's just moving cart. Your Doom has high ground, but he loses it. This Soldier is making the right decision, which is to go high ground. Like, she could be playing main of everybody else, but she's not. She very clearly is like intending to get high ground and to go after your backline, which is exactly the right thing. You playing main should be the one to deflect this. Your Doom can't do all the jobs, okay? So it has to be you, especially a pocketed you, to hold this space. So she's going to get the Ana low, which is reasonable, right? Ana gets out of position, she's getting poked, she's trying to help the team, but she doesn't have a great angle. Zeep goes off, and then she ends up eating this volley from the Zen. I don't think that happens if the Soldier never pokes her, because she's distracted by the Zen, by the Soldier. Right? Oh, okay, the Disruptor's here, she's trying to heal, the Soldier's, like, see how she's looking to the left, and then she gets killed. Right? If she's looking straight ahead the whole time, probably never dies. So something as little as you just standing up here, because there's no way the Soldier can win a 1v1 with you, or 1v2, right? Because you have the Mercy. You just going up here immediately sends the Soldier off, right? The Soldier has to go back to her team, then you have high ground control, your Ana's never dead, it's 5-5, and you're in good position. You'd much rather be standing here, or here, right? Than low ground where you are right now. Where you see, like, you're wasting your time down there. Right, now you're purple, you gotta back off. So this is tough because your Mercy is Valking, and this is a 4-5 situation, which is not good, right? Especially since your spawn is relatively close. I'd rather wait for the Mercy for the Ana to come back. I would rather just coach gun right now, take high ground, like pin back the team. Like if you're holding right here, what are they gonna do? They can't stop you. They can't get you off high ground. Not unless the Risa comes, and the Risa is clearly not interested in playing high ground. So you just stand right here, you hold them back, right? Wait for your Ana to step up to the team, then pop Valk, right? Then pop Bob, pop everything. But otherwise, you're kind of wasting your ultis here. right?
Yeah, and I think here I was wanting to set up a crossfire with Bob, and then halfway through that pathing, realized that it was going to be too dangerous and backed off and wasted time there.
Yep. So looking again at this Valk here, right? It's like nothing's really happening with this Valk. Like Trance gets forced, but I don't think the Valk had anything to do with it. The Zen is very overextended. Yeah, see, the Valk has nothing to do with it. The Zen's super overextended and the Doom forces it. Oh, that's really unlucky. The Orisa blocks Bob.
Yeah, and I think getting in her head, she probably was just like, the Ana's dead. We're mid-fight. Doom's pushing up. I need to pop Valk, but
Yep. Ult
yeah, I
economy
get what you're saying there.
is so important, right? It's okay sometimes to be like, hey, look, we want to fight. We're rolling. Let's let the enemy team win a fight. And that seems kind of crazy, but like you have 4 minutes here, you know? Like just let them pop all their ultimates, because when people are losing, right, they lose the first fight, they lose the second fight, then they're like, okay, no matter what, we're winning this fight. And then all 5 of them pop their ultimates. The best thing to do is pop 0 ultimates and be like, okay, cool, you won the fight. We're going to come back and now we have ultimates and you don't, and then you easily win. And that's kind of an advanced like macro level concept to think about going forwards is like, do I actually want to be popping ultis here? Which there's a lot of complexity to. But the short answer is the ultimate actually going to help me win the fight? Which Valk very clearly didn't, right? Bob, similarly, is not actually helping me win this fight. Now, to be fair, it got blocked by the Orisa, but that's kind of like a mechanics thing to think about. I mean, I certainly didn't think of that interaction until I just saw it right now. But to think about the timing and angle, I mean, she's already spinning, so you throw it into it. That's number one. Number two, Trance is up right now. So it's not a good time for Bob, you know, because like all the damage from Bob can get healed by Trance really, really easily. Like even if the Bob makes it all the way over here, the Zen just backs up with the Ana, heals the Ana and the Torb, the Ana sleeps the Bob, and then they just kill it. So yeah. I think not the right time. So I think you're gonna. Okay, so it still ends up getting somewhere with this. I would say at higher level play, this is unlikely. I think you would just get the whole thing would have just gotten shut down. Now, this is a really interesting situation. So the Orisa, you know, is low going into the room. She should be going for the Mega, but she's not for some reason. And then you start chasing after her. I think the right call would actually been to go to the left and focus on the Sojourn. Well, Genji gets a kill. But pinning her off here is great, because if she stays in the back line, and let's say even goes and gets this Mega, a 350 health Orisa with no help, with no team support, is useless. Like, every second she lives is actually bad for her. Does that make sense? Like, it's fine to just cap in and leave the Orisa here. You're almost about to cap anyway. I'd rather leave the Orisa alive to stagger than try to force this kill. See? Like, the Doom's not moving it because he's like, oh, are you going to need help? Then the Genji eventually comes over and then caps it. So little things like that, just being aware is like, hey, actually, you know, this is kind of a weird situation. The Orisa's probably making a mistake trying to stay alive here. She should just die. Like, if I was doing a replay for the Orisa, I'd be like, you're making a mistake, just die. Like, don't try to stay alive here. So, I want to see Dynamite. Yep, good Dynamite. I think you pop it. Nope, you get her. I was going to say, I think you pop a little short under your all set. But I think after you pop it, I think fight right now. Even with the orbs, especially with the fact that the volley missed you, fight right now and kill the Zen. Dying right now, not a problem, because your spawn is so close. So you should calibrate your risk profile, right? Your decision making based on a lot of different factors, but one of them is how close you are to spawn. If I'm right here, you can take whatever risk you want, okay? If I'm all the way over here, I need to be a lot more careful, because the cost of me dying is like a 30-second walk. Over here, with the cart still behind, like, this point, like, I'm probably going to be able to meet the cart at the corner even if I die right now. So if I can try to push aggressively, get kills, that will keep, if I kill the Zen right now, this cart's going to move all the way over to like here before the Zen can come back and recontest. So it's kind of a lost opportunity to get more picks at that moment. So in this situation, especially playing as Ashe, you should swing wide. Swinging close to the corner exposes you to more spam and more damage. Swinging wide here gives you better field of view, and you can use the cart as cover, which can increase your uptime, right? You see how immediately when you start eating that Orisa spam, you start ducking, okay? But if you're behind the cart, you don't have to worry about it, right? Even the Orisa spam's coming at you, it's so little that you don't have to be concerned about eating a javelin. Like, the odds of her hitting a javelin like over the top of this cart is not high. So it's just trying to keep your uptime up a little higher. You got not Dynamite coming. You lost one, right? You should recognize, okay, we got Rezzing. Yep, chilling. I think this is the right call. I think this Dynamite's bad, right? Just wait a little bit. Be patient. They're so clumped up around this corner. So I would think, so whenever they spin forward, I always think that it's going to be Terra Surge, I
Yeah, I
think.
thought they were gonna ult here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good read the situation. And killer, great. Get aggressive. Right, even Railgun, I mean, kind of is what it is. You lost your Doom anyway, so it's 4 and 4. Like, you aggress, maybe you get a kill. If you don't, your spawn's so close. No big deal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking there, was that we were so close, I was just gonna go ahead and take the duel, even though she was ulting.
Yeah. One thing to know here is if you have dynamite right now, this would be absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Right? Dynamite
That seems to be the theme so far, is that I look to get dynamite on cooldown and not get actual value with the dynamite.
Exactly. And just holding dynamite for a better opportunity is great. It's not like a 4-second cooldown you should spam, right? It's like 13 seconds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Dynamite really helps in duels. As soon as you hit somebody with dynamite in a duel, they're out of there. Like, they're dead or they're running. It's all fine. Okay, Bob. I think Bob is fine. So, this is a little tricky. Number one is I mean, I guess you jump out here to throw Bob, but I would have probably strafed back behind the cart. I think it's good to be ignoring the Orisa right now. You should actually be going for the Zen. And the reason here being is that the Zen is the only one with a defensive ultimate, and you want to be forcing the Zen trance before your Genji blades. And this is kind of like a higher level thinking. I don't think at low diamond you would pick this up, but I think if you were low masters, you'd already have recognized like who your other DPS is. Because the only thing that can stop Genji blade here is trance. If you start shooting at the Zen, who's wide open, right? You've gotten kills like this already, I think twice this game. If you start shooting at the Zen and you headshot him or even body shot him, he's down, under 100 health. He's got to make a decision. Do I trance to save myself and my team right now, but not have it for Blade, or do I die here and let my team deal with Blade without me? Because you don't put any pressure on the Zen, instead go for the Ana, now he blades, which means trance happens, and now the Genji can't do anything. But you could have avoided that just by forcing the Zen out sooner, who was actually the easier target. He has a larger hitbox model, and he's much closer to you than the Ana is. Right? Much, much, much closer to you than the Ana is. Red call to ignore them. Right, good dynamite. Yep. I think also when people start dueling you, you should consider unscoping. Because when you're scoped, it makes them much easier for them to hit you, versus if you unscope at that moment in time and just like regular AD strafe, like at full speed, it's much harder for them to land hits.
Gotcha. Yeah, I usually do that with flankers. I'm not sure why I didn't do that here. I think I was feeling myself a little more with the aim, since they were in that like catwalk area.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I would play this this angle. So Ashe is good at medium to long range, right? She's not particularly good at short range because there's lots of the heroes that do a lot more damage. Plus your scope makes you very, very slow. So watching the Sojourn here, right? You see, it's like very easy for the headshot because you're so close and you're scoped, right? Little things like that make a big difference, and just learning how to duel. So I think you want to stay sort of with the cart. Once they start coming out, you can be playing here and then be playing back. Playing this doorway is absolutely not your job. You end up dying here. So if you don't die, I think your team would have capped by now. Because like imagine if you'd been alive this whole time, right? Just over here, you would have killed the Ana already, right? You would have killed the Zen, and then you would have been working down the Orisa, and then you would have capped by now. Instead, just get back to the fight now. Another great example where I think I would just unscope and unload. You have plenty of ammo. Like, you're frequently reloading early. Alright. Overall, I think offense still went reasonably well, right? A full cap is always good. A full cap of 2 minutes, 15 seconds, really good.
Yeah, I think this is the round where, like, and even the Mercy felt this way too. Like, we make a lot of mistakes here, but it feels like we had just a different tank after this first attack.
Well, your tank is playing Ramatra, so it's... Or, no, you're playing Doomfist. So, were they playing Doomfist? Yeah, they're playing Doomfist all last game. So
yeah.
I mean, also possibly they just get unlucky. Something that happens, like you just overextend, their team comp changes, they have a sim now. Alright. Kill really quickly. A small optimization, which is unlikely to have happened in real time. The optimization would have been you should have kept shooting and your Mercy should have killed it with the pistol and then gone back to healing you or pocketing you. because
Yeah.
this moment where they're crossing across this gap is the most dangerous for them. And you want to have, like, every shot you take is a possibility to do a ton of damage, right? And then 2 shots is a kill. So now you only get 2 shots on them before they cross that gap. And now, like, it's a lot more likely they'll be able to get to the point, and they get to the point. This is a good teleport by Sim. Good headshot. Okay, so you got 2 options to play this. 1, play over here. Option number 2 is take high ground. So I would stay this angle until this happens. Once he shields, Ramacha shield has 1,000 health and lasts only 4 seconds. So it's not even worth shooting unless, like, their whole team is shooting at it and they do a lot of damage. As soon as the shield went up, I would have gone here and I would have coach gunned up top to take another angle. Because it's very...
Yeah, I think I do that here.
Yeah, it's very, very hard for them to deal with it. So you coach gun laterally. I noticed that you almost never coach gun up. So that slows you down, right? You should have been... At this point, if you coach gun up, you would already be right here. Does that make sense? And that little difference in time matters. You know, because now you get 1, 2, 3, 4 shots before you actually get there. 4 shots, pretty good chance you kill one of these squishies, or even the Ramacha. So I probably would have opened with dynamite. Seeing the 2 of them there, I would have opened with dynamite. And now your Genji dashes in. I think a common theme that we're going to see here is that your Genji could have done so much more if you helped him get kills to get dash resets. Because he goes in when they're low, but they're not, like, because you're not able to confirm any kills, he doesn't get the reset. Ramacha's extended here. I think, again, better mechanics result in the kill. Not better aim, but I think if you just unscope and went bam, 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 because I think your DPS is higher, significantly higher in unscoped mode. And you have plenty of ammo, right? With 10 ammo, this Ramacha dies. Or even unscoping right now and immediately spamming left click. The Ramacha dies before he gets healed.
Yeah.
So, I think if this happens, I immediately chuck dynamite and pop it in her face. Because I don't have to worry about the splash damage from dynamite, right? My Mercy's right here. There's no way I'm going to die from the burn. But she could die. If I burn her with dynamite here, she's going to be at like 10 health. And if I body shot her once, she's dead unless she gets healing. So I think the instinct is, like, when she challenges this is a mistake by her. This is a really bad challenge by her. Right? It's like virtually suicidal, and you should have popped dynamite instantly in her face and then killed her. Yep, good. So, what were you thinking right here?
I acknowledge that my team's been dead for a while now, my tank.
So your tank's dead,
at this point, and I think that if I can get Bob on the point to hold, that we'll be back in time to not lose it.
Okay, so I think this is actually a reasonable opportunity to contest. You still have 3 people alive, and you're on high ground. Okay, and you've already killed 1, so it's a 4-on-3, and you have ultimate because you've done a really good job farming damage. So I think it's very reasonable to try to contest this. I think if I was in your shoes, I think this is the right time to try to contest this. What I'm specifically asking is, why did you coach gun onto the point?
Yeah, this is where I guess in the moment, brain was not thinking that I could have just stayed on high ground and put Bob into the, like, lean-to right there, and instead I try to get him on the doorway when I could have just stayed on high ground and thrown him in front of me.
Exactly. And that's what you should have done. So after you kill this Sim, pow, 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 great. You need one body shot here, right? Gives you Bob. Then to pop Bob in this situation, I would have sent Bob probably right here. Because this gives him angles on the Ana, it gives him angles on the Baptiste, right? Forces probably a sleep out if she hasn't. I might even have heard her use sleep. Yeah, we actually heard her use sleep, so it's unsleepable now, which is great. So there's basically nothing that they can do to stop this Bob. Right, you send him right here. The Ana has nowhere to go. She has like hide behind this pillar or something. The Baptiste is stuck in a really weird position. He's got to like stand behind this box, at which point you'll kill him. Okay, sending him into this point, no good, because then the supports don't have. He doesn't have LOS of the supports. Right. An alternative would have been sending him right here, but it's still like the Baptiste could have gotten to cover, but has better angles over here. But I think probably your best option, sending him right here, so the Bob stands here and then annihilates the supports without sleep. Virtually guaranteed that at least one of them is going to die to Bob. And then you'll kill the other. And at that point, it's a 2-on-2. But stepping on the point, messes up your uptime a lot because now, like while you're in the air, you're not shooting anybody, you're not looking at anybody. You do Bob, now you follow the Sojourn. Right? Now you go like this way, and then the Baptiste kills you. I actually would have followed the Sojourn. Seeing how low she was, I would have followed her through this and tried to kill her. Because like at this point, like what are you gonna do? Going back to point of 2 supports, there's no way you can outdamage that. And then you die. So I would say even if you executed things correctly, only about a 30% chance that you hold this point, but that's pretty good, right? And a 3-on-4, that's a pretty good odds. I would take those odds. I think it's worth using Bob in that situation to try to get it. But let's keep track of where does your Bob actually go? Oh yeah, you put your Bob right there, right? You see they both just sit behind the pillars, and then you know it's just not nearly as effective. It doesn't end up getting the kills that you need. Come back out. So again, Blizzard World second point, really important to take high ground. Super important to take high ground. You should be starting high ground. Like where the Sojourn was, you should be playing high ground already. Now you don't have Coach Gun. Roger spinning you out.
Yeah, that's a problem that I noticed on this round where I did want to get on high ground frequently and then found myself without Coach Gun.
Right. Because like the Coach Gun you did previously.
Yeah, like this was to break LOS, and then now I'm kind of stuck with my,
but
you know, my pants down, not being able to get on high ground.
You could just walk away. I mean, you're not that far away from cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, now you should Coach Gun to go get high ground. Again, trying to challenge Ramatra long range is surprisingly difficult because the spam actually does a lot of damage. It's very good.
Yeah, you'll see. I try to challenge him here, and this is so cringe. I think when I was watching this earlier, I wanted to die right here.
So, yeah, definitely throw dynamite here. Try to farm. Yeah, your Mercy's not healing you right now. It's also something to recognize is that you're no longer being pocketed and you die from the sim on the right. So, all in all, just like not an effective fight, right? You're not really hitting the shots regardless. The Ramatra does a lot of damage to you. Then you eat the sim. That first sim ball, you should have immediately turned and been like, wait, what the heck? And then started the duel with the sim and dropped if you need to. But you being down here is going to obviously put you in a bad situation. I think your Genji, as far as I can tell, I haven't viewed it from his perspective, seems like they did it right here. Alright, good dynamite. Great, get the kill. So now you control high ground. Now it's just cleanup. Unfortunate. Okay, so you go for the Ana, which is the correct call. But once I see the Sojourn coming in, I would turn towards her because she's sliding and trying to come in on somebody, and I probably would have just thrown dynamite down and popped it right now. Even if I couldn't get the angle, I would have even dropped because you still have Coach Gun. And Ramatra does very little burst damage, so you could dynamite here and like let's say you missed the body shot, so she's burning but not gonna die. Drop down, shoot, kill her, and then Coach Gun back up. And then that would save your Ana in this situation. Alright, good dynamite. Okay, see, dynamite immediately forces Nano because she gets scared, right? She's like, oh no, I'm gonna die. Right, this is not a good time for Nano, and she's gonna end up wasting. See, the Ramatra's like totally useless right now. What the heck is he gonna do with Nano? But stuff like that, like you force mistakes by dynamiting the right people at the right times. Right? You basically just wasted their Nano because of that shot that you just made that plus dynamite. Now you're playing high ground. Right. I'm sure the Sojourn's so frustrated dealing with you with a pocket. Good headshot. Yep, that's fine. Right. Sometimes you don't get a kill, that's okay. You missed the. Oh, you gotta get out of that right away. I would have Coach Gunned out of that immediately. Because you're very low. And it does a lot of damage, so I would have Coach Gunned out of this just in case. Because she could have followed up here and killed you with a soft rail. So I do not agree with dropping here. The Ramatra on his own isn't going to do anything. Okay, even with Annihilation, like he's just simply not going to do anything here. My read at this situation is the Ramatra is overextended, crazy overextended. Okay, he's got a Sojourn who still hasn't taken high ground and is at half health, and he has 3 people pinned way in the back. If he wants to run down my supports from 30 meters away, let him. I'll just hold back the rest of the team. If I'm nervous at all that they'll step up, I send Bob out here, right? Right here, then they have to deal with that, etc. But going down here to try to fight the Ramatra is not a good plan. And sending Bob at him is even worse. So he's going to die here, but in exchange for this, First of all, I don't even know that you needed Bob, right? Because I think that your team did a really good job holding back all 4 of them. See, like they're not even participating in this at all. Right? Your Genji comes in, kills the Baptiste. Like I don't think you needed Bob at all. I think it's a waste of ultimate. I think their tank made a very bad decision to try to go in at all, and then using Annihilation made that decision even worse. So right, your team clearly wins this. I don't think Bob did any meaningful amount of damage to the Ramatra. I think it is right. Yeah, the Bob did maybe 100 damage to the Ramatra. 150 we're being generous. So that had no impact whatsoever. So it's a waste of Bob. Alright, so over here, remember this. You're going to lose a duel against the Sojourn. I think this is fair. I would not expect... She does a really good job tracking you. From her perspective, you're kind of running at her, which makes it easier. Right? But her aim is actually really good. So in terms of like what you could have done differently, I think that just slow playing it here, you would almost guarantee to have lived, and then throwing dynamite when you're ready.
I see one.
But like you get a little too cocky here, just to like run straight at her, because you know your doom's following, presumably.
Yeah.
So if you hadn't died, that means you'd still be on high ground. If you're on high ground, right, these supports never get up, right? So when's the Sojourn? When does Sojourn kill you? Actually, okay, I gotta rewind. I want to make sure that's right timing. Okay. So you're here, the Sojourn kills you, and then does she not die? Oh, and she doesn't die. Oh, wow, this is really bad. Okay, yeah, that's huge. The Sojourn makes a giant play here. So if you never died to the Sojourn, or actually even just kill confirm the Sojourn, either way, right? Then you come back to high ground, then from high ground you walk over here, you shoot at the Ana, and then when the Baptiste is coming, you completely hold back the Baptiste from participating in this fight. So that was a really big death, an unexpectedly important death that you had. In general, I would say just don't challenge people at close ranges. It's just not, it doesn't work out well for your character. Yeah, she's fragging. So, I remember what happens next here. So, one thing to keep in mind is never run backwards in a straight line. So you're going to do that right here. Sorry, after that. Because you're lining up the dynamite. So you're going to get all the way down to 23 health, and you're like, oh, okay, I survived. But the Sojourn's going to read this correctly and come up and kill you right away. See? So you line up dynamite, and you're like, you really want to make sure the dynamite lands, you get super low, Sojourn runs up, kills you right away. So that's twice that the Sojourn has killed you in unexpected situations. You should never die here. Like, this is not an acceptable death. Some deaths is like not a big deal, right? The previous death it is okay. Like I understand. This death unacceptable. There's no way that you should die in that situation. And it starts from you being super cocky about your positioning. You come up here, you don't have a pocket right now. I don't know where your mercy is right now, but you throw this dynamite and then you walk backwards in a straight line away from the Baptiste, which allows him to do a ton of damage on you. Sojourn goes up and kills you. And because of that, you have like makes contest really, really hard. So this is going on. Walls ended. Yeah, you have no choice right now but to contest this. I would probably stay on cart, but yeah. See, this is actually a really big moment that you should have stayed on cart. It's unexpected because you have a Doom here, but notice that your team is definitely going to win this fight. Right? This is a 3-on-2, but they cap here. If you simply stood on the cart for another fraction of a second, right, here, and stayed alive, then the Baptiste never caps it, because you see the Doom comes right back to the point too. So that little mistake, that little thing of just not dying on the cart, meant that they capped second point. Because they're definitely not going to win this fight. Yeah, I mean, if your team was spawning right here, they're not going to win this fight. So that ends up being a really, really, really big mistake. Any questions so far?
Nope. Okay. Pretty clear.
So coming up, you're 50%. I'm looking for big dynamite here. Farm Bob. You're at 64, 65 already. Yeah, 67, 68, 70. Insane value from dynamite. Great call to go for an Ana here. Yep, kill. Yep, coach gun away. Great. I went through the dynamite again. One target. Right. If you wait just a few more seconds, you get a much juicier dynamite. You have Bob now. Is this the right time to Bob?
In the moment, I certainly thought it was. It looked like I had a pretty good crossfire opportunity. I know their team is to the back right, and I see the sim in front of me, and then their tank is a little too far forward too. He's gonna have to turn his back to us to defend them from Bob. So that I think that's why I made the decision to throw him out here.
Okay, but analyzing it now, do you still think it's the right call?
Um, I'm not sure.
So I
I think I still would have bopped here.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yes.
think it's a fair call, right? I agree with all the things that you just said, which is, hey, the tank's like a little bit forward. I can send the tank behind him, right? Theoretically, this bot should get into a good position, and we shoot them. There's two problems here. Number one, they are around a corner, which means that for me to do anything, I need to step all the way up and start attacking. Same thing for the Genji, right? And paired with that, they're actually reasonably far back. Okay, it's not like they're like right here. They're like a good distance. Like this Baptiste can definitely make it to cover before Bob kills anyone. The Symmetra can cover this way. The Sojourn can maybe slide out if she has slide. She doesn't. But the second point that's actually more important is they're down one right now. And ulting when you're up one is generally not a good idea because often you're going to win that fight anyway. Win or stall that fight. And when you're in defense, your goal should be stall out as long as possible. This Ramatra is not moving this cart anywhere, right? All 5 of you are alive. He's down a player. Like this cart's basically going to stop right here. Right? We look like you see the cart's not moving. All right, Doom's here. We have like Doom's going to come back and contest this cart right away. You don't need to do anything. On defense, every second that goes by where the cart doesn't move is good for you. But instead, you use a really important resource here, Bob, and yeah, it ends up getting out there. It kills the sim. Everybody covers. You win the fight. But it wasn't the right time. I would rather the whole team have been starting to commit, right? Start using their resources, like let's say nano. Like let's say they nano the Ramatra. Then you Bob behind him. That's huge, right? Because now the Bob is going to mess up this team, and the Nano Ramatra is going to be alone, and maybe I win. So I can trade that ultimate for his. Instead, in this scenario, you kill them, but their spawn is so close. They're going to be back in a second. So ultimately, like, assuming you did need Bob to win that fight, which I think is questionable because they're already down one, all you really bought was like 15 seconds off the clock with your Bob. But if you trade it for an ultimate, you can buy somewhere between like 45 to a minute and a half of time. So you gotta get back now. One thing I recognize, the Sojourn is very aggressive and knows what she's doing. So when she comes out here, I would think that she's going to try to farm rail and get a kill. I would use this spot to try to kill her. She's definitely like the highest ranked player on their team, would be my guess, right? From her aim.
Yeah, she was Masters 5 or Diamond 1, I think.
Yeah. So I would assume, hey, she's going to try to contest this. So I would play this right here. I would like bait as though I'm like, oh, I'm retreating. Then play here and start the duel. Because she probably used slide to get in. Yeah, she did. Right? So imagine if you're right here, you get minimum 2 shots before she can get away because she doesn't have slide. 2, maybe 3 shots, you might get a pick here. You get a pick here, that's massive. Right? Because then you come back in a 5-on-4 situation. Right? You had 2 supports there, so you are no risk of dying. You're over flicking right now every single shot.
Yeah.
Right? So you're gonna go. I think you go high to the left once we start going left. Yeah, high to the left. Then you reset to the right. High to the left. Something to note. So right here, when that shield goes up, recognizing that my Doom is in and my Genji's in, I coach gun sideways and start applying pressure. I probably don't need coach gun in the next 10 seconds because I have 2 dive characters that are committed to the team. But because you're too far back right now, your uptime is poor, right? You want to synergize your windows of threat with your team. Hey, my team's in, I want to be in. I think going high ground is also okay, but it takes too long, right? Now your Doom has died before you could even do anything to help. And like maybe your Doom makes a wrong call here. I think, oh no, because you hit a triple dynamite here. Yeah, I think he's going because he sees triple dynamite. You hit a quadruple dynamite. This is massive. Yeah, see, everyone's so low here. I think if you coach gun right away, you get kills here, for sure. Right? If you get any single person low, your Genji dives, right? Gets a dash reset, and then continues and wipes everybody. So I think you just need more of a sense of urgency. Like, just because you're not playing a melee character or a mobile character, you need to know, like, hey, my team's in, I gotta be in. I don't think it's a wrong call for your Doom to go in here. Right? I think that he sees... right? He didn't start charging before. He sees the dynamite. He sees a huge dynamite. Comes out. He punches 2 into a wall, right? He's forced lamp out, right? He's trying to block here, and he gets purpled. But I think this is a very reasonable engage from the Doom. Started by a good dynamite by you. You just didn't have the angle to keep shooting, which you could have had with Coach Gun. You're gonna play high ground up here. Good dynamite. Alright, going for the sim. The problem is Baptiste's doing a great job keeping everybody alive. I don't think you dropped there into the annihilation. Because now you're just walking in front of 3 people. There's no reason you should live here. You are gonna live, but I think that's very lucky. I think I would have just stayed up here, right? And even gone back, dropped down the backside and played this angle if I had to. Versus walking at the point. Because now everyone is able to look forwards. As soon as you do this, they all are like, okay, no problem. They all look forwards. But if you drop and, like, for example, go over here or stay high ground, if they're not landing hits on you, then it divides their attention and allows your team to go after the Ramatra. You don't play tank, do you?
I did in 1, but I don't in 2.
Okay. So I think a lot of these things come from tank instincts, where I think I can win fights by not necessarily getting kills, but by distracting people. If I'm the tank in this situation, okay, I might be able to, let me back up. I might not be able to stop the Ramatra, right? What am I gonna do to stop this Ramatra, especially if he's nano? But if I can force these 3 people to all look at me, or 4 people, really, okay? Like if I'm Winston or Diva or whatever, I'd force all 4 of these to look at me, and I'm distracted, because that's what's happening right now, right? All 4 of them are busy with you. Then my team should be able to 4v1 their tank and win the fight. Or 3v1, since your Mercy's with you.
This ends now.
Yeah, sim wall and everything, there's no way to get this. Okay. So, let's now look at this. So they managed to cap. You have plenty of time, so you're in good position, right? 1.5 minutes more time. I think this game ends up being a draw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shooting. You saw the initial sim teleport. So one thing I think about is, hey, what did they do last time? And this is one of the things that also happens when you're duo queued, is that teams tend to be more coordinated. I almost never see these types of sim plays in regular solo queue situations, but there's probably, like, the sim is maybe queued up with somebody else, and it's more likely that they're making a call out. And you could be like in a 3-stack, for example, your duo in a 3-stack. So last time they got all the way over here and then they teleported to point. So I'm thinking, okay, how can I either interrupt that, kill them before they get to their first teleport point, or if I can't interrupt that, can I dynamite them after they come out onto the point? And for example, once I see the team get the statue, maybe I decide to early rotate, Coach Gun over here, stare at the teleport spot, and then throw dynamite preemptively and then pop it. Because that's fight for me, right? If I hit 5 people with dynamite as they come out teleport, that's it for the fight. I think a good instinct would be able to throw dynamite and instantly pop it, because this is a really good instant dynamite pop situation. That would have killed the soldier. You still get the kill, great. Right, scope target, great. She's gonna teleport, fine, whatever. Yeah, kill the teleporter. I would throw dynamite, yep. It's good. Go for the Baptiste. I mean, we know this, you end up fully holding this, but... Good headshot. So I don't think you give this up, right? You headshot the Sojourn, so you know she can't peek you for probably like 2-3 seconds while she's getting healed. You look at point's totally fine. You're in a really good position. You single-handedly are holding back 4 people right now. So there's no need to drop right now. I think you want to stay, because then your Doom dives in and now you're not there to help. Still get the side angle in the Baptiste. Second. Yep. Get that kill. So Coach Gun, by the way, does a lot of damage. I think it does 90 damage. So right here, you could have Coach Gun and she probably dies. And definitely right there. And definitely right here. You cut that very, very close unnecessarily.
Yeah.
You had multiple opportunities to get that.
The fat 2 HP.
Yeah. Alright, so let's look at offense. Come up here. So high ground should be your #1 priority. Again, big dynamite on top, be huge. You pop dynamite there, which I think is okay. Yeah, you get the soldier and you get the lamp, you get the Ramatra. Yeah, I think I like that. I don't know. Oh.
Yeah, that was so weird. I was expecting her to move and then she just didn't.
So again, another thing to think about is you do more damage per second. I don't know the stats off the top of my head. We do more damage per second unscope. So like if you're on the Roger's back at point blank, just unload him. Just unscope and unload on him. That's what you want to do. But I probably still would have shot the Sim because there's no way this Ramacha's gonna die in this situation. Like he's Nemesis right now. His supports are still alive. Like worst case scenario, he just holds block and walks backwards. I would have still been trying to kill the Sim because if I'm your team, like I don't want you to deal with the Ramacha. I want you to kill the Sim because the rest of your team's gonna have a lot of trouble with them. The Sim's here, I think, partially because your Genji has been a real problem for their team, right? He's getting a lot of picks on offense in particular. So I think the Sim is kind of a reaction to that. The Genji cannot duel the Sim up here safely if both were at full health. But if you so much as body shot her, then he can go kill her really quickly. So I think you should be focusing on the Sim. See, this is a bad coach gun, right? You're basically full health, right? You get nervous and you coach gun. This is a bad instinct. You should have been like, I'm totally fine. I'm being pocketed. I have my support with me. I'm virtually full health. They don't have any one-shot heroes. They have no Widow, no Hanzo. I cannot die here. Right? No soldier. I cannot die here. Your perspective should have been, I want a coach gun, take high ground, and look at all these juicy targets here if I take high ground. The second you stand up here, this whole team, assuming you don't dynamite and kill them, have to back up and either play here on the point, like in this lean-to, in which case they're going to die, or they need to back up all the way to the gate, which would be a really hard thing to do while you're shooting at them. So just taking high ground there is quite possibly fight winning. Yeah, now you have coach gun. The soldier is standing on your high ground. She drops. Now you're high ground. Great. But you see, now they're set up, right? There's a huge difference between where they were a few seconds ago when they were still in rotation, right?
Yeah.
Gone up here, been up here, right? Obviously, like, I would say with your skill, like your aim level, you probably kill one of them. As if you have dynamite, right, and you're standing here right now, you probably kill at least one of them or force out lamp at least. Okay. But now later, when you actually end up coming to high ground, you see they're all already set up, right? The Ana's already all the way back here by gate, right? Soldier has the little stand, right? Ramacha's on point. This is much, much weaker position now. Yeah, you're once again walking in a straight line and you get lit up by the Ramacha. Because you're trying to line up the dynamite. I think you should also, as a practice thing, get used to tossing dynamite and not having the easy lineup, right? Toss dynamite, walk to the left, scope, and shoot it. I think coach gun will also set it off if you're really, really desperate and you like lose track of where the dynamite is. But yeah, I think for now, still okay. So now that shield is up, right? Look for targets. No, don't shoot the Ramacha. It's your job to kill the backline. So you have 5 ammo right now, 4 ammo, 3 ammo, right? The Sim, very visible, very killable. Right? Okay, Ramacha's purple. Okay, I agree with that. Once he's purple, yep, go kill him. You hit the Baptiste. You're back in. That looks good. Right, so you got your pick, right? As long as you don't die here, you can reset. That's an awkward coach gun. Because you like coach gun at them. So I would have coach gun this way. But you see how you blast this direction, which puts you in line of sight again. I would not tunnel vision that much on that. So the Sim on your left is very dangerous. Those balls do like 90, 100 damage, something like that. Something significant. You don't want to play too close here. This is another example of go wide. Take the wide angle. See, you see your beam? Her beam stops right here. Okay? You're a medium to long range character. There's no reason to be playing close to the corner. Play this angle right here, all the way out here, forces the Sim back, or she has to run at you and commit, which will almost guarantee her death. Okay? Just stay a little further back. She's stuck inside. Alright, windows up. So don't worry about the Ramacha, right? The Ramacha's not going to win and clutch this fight. Just kill the backline and the fight's over. So you see that lamp is up right now, and no one is shooting through the window. So you can safely stand in front of the window, because again, no one's looking at it. But you have to kill this lamp for your team. Otherwise, no one's going to die. See, Genji dashes in. You see how low they are? If you kill lamp right now, chuck a dynamite in, you won the point, and you won the game. But instead, you focus on the Ramacha, which is a huge mistake. Right? Like, you just gotta help out your team just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Right? Ramacha, not, like, you see how little damage it does? He's so much health. Right? Plus block, right? He might get Annihilation soon. Just even chucking a dynamite in without actually shooting it might have been enough to win this. Right? They're all so low, but, you know, the lamp stays up for forever. And then you do end up popping Bob here before you die, which is great. I don't think the Bob angle is excellent. So I probably would have sent the Bob here against the shed to make sure I can shoot to the right. Because if you put it I don't know how far this ends up going. Oh, it ends up stopping there, which is lucky. Why does it stop there? What the heck? Why does it stop in the middle of the point?
He stops if he knocks someone up.
Oh, yeah, see, I'm playing Ashe. Okay, so great. So you knock him up, so it stops here. So this actually ends up being okay. The problem is I really wanted to go after the backline, right? Tank, really, really hard to kill. If you send him all the way over here, the closest target is going to be over there. But it hit the Ramacha regardless, so. And then you have 45 seconds. So you still have one more take, right? The tank is dead, right? So you're up right now. You're up 4-on-2, right? 4-on-2, I think your tank might die soon, but this is like strongly favored for you, right? 3-on-2, still easy, hopefully. Okay, Genji's blading. I look, who is he blading? Right? Very important. I assume you don't play Genji, right?
No, not at all. I actually literally don't even think I know that the sim is here because I haven't seen her.
Okay.
Like I saw her turret, but I don't think I know that the sim is here.
Okay, so do you know about dash resets for Genji?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very important. The worst thing for Genji is to be stuck where you're just like swinging at thin air and you just like can't get to anybody. So whenever Genji's blading, you want to be attacking whoever he is attacking. Hopefully you don't kill them first, but usually he gets a hit in. And then once they die, he could reset, go over here, and then keep carrying. So from your perspective, should you have known the sim was here? Well, you would have heard that shot. It takes you a really long time to kill a turret. So at this point, you see her, and you should be like, okay, the sim's on my right. Like, you definitely saw her. Whether or not you mentally connected the dots, but she's in the center of your screen right now, going to your right. Like, you still see her right here, going to the right. You see the Genji blading. You also hear your Genji blading. So I would look right now and be like, who is my Genji blading? Oh, he's blading the sim? I would immediately pop dynamite here and kill her. So because you don't get this kill on the sim, right, he's just slashing away. Lamp gets popped, right, and then she's going to stay alive. She teleports away, which is a smart call. And then Blade ends up being wasted, right? But if you help burst down that sim, the whole fight is totally different. So what did you do instead? You dynamite the Baptiste. You don't need to shoot this Lamp. Alright, I would just confirm the kill on the Baptiste, because Lamp is too far away from him, so I would try to shoot him. Now you have to kill the Lamp. Alright, Anna's doing a great job pocketing. I think it's a good attempt. The coach gun shot nearly kills him. I think if it's a little more to the right, I think this is a kill. Yeah. See? Like, you were way off of him, and you still nearly killed him. If you were just slightly more to the right, you would have killed him with coach gun. Just be a little more patient. And he was dead. But if the Baptiste is dead right now, then it would be a 2-on-2, right? You and the Genji versus the Ana. The sim's in your face, and now it's no good. Yeah, and that's game. Okay, so yeah, in summary, I don't think your aim is the issue. Certainly, I don't feel like your aim is what's holding you back. I mean, obviously, there are times where you can aim better, but like, I don't see a streak of like, oh, you have so many good opportunities, but you're not converting them. The biggest things are, one, just understanding what your team needs from you, right? Oh, I got to clear high ground. Okay, I got to be shooting the squishies right now. My Genji's blading. I got to be attacking his target, right? I got to peel the DPS that's on my supports. Little things like that, which add up to big things. That's like kind of the number one overarching theme that I see here that to work on. Number two, I think the Bobs don't get enough value. And I think that as you start climbing, once you're entering high diamond, low masters, nobody wastes ultimates. Like, everyone knows, like, is this ultimate good or not? And I feel like you're still kind of sending them when you're like, this is a good opportunity for Bob to do a lot of damage. And I think you have that read correct, but you don't necessarily have the read of, do I need Bob to win this fight at all? Does that make sense? Is that distinction clear?
Yeah.
So that's like, or do I even need to win this fight? Like, does this fight matter? You know, like, if we're staggered and running away, if I pop Bob and like they fight it, but the cart's gonna keep moving anyway because it's like the cart's, you know, a million miles away and they're on offense and pushing it, then who cares? Like, we can lose this fight. It doesn't matter. The cart's gonna move no matter what. So yeah, that's number one and number two. And number three, I would say just the mechanics. Again, less aim, mechanics. Not shooting enough hip shot shots. Not dynamiting people at close range. Not confirming kills with coach gun. Little things like that, I think also you can work on pretty easily.
Yeah.
And do well. Again, I don't think it's an aim issue. I don't think it's a reaction speed issue. I think that you have a lot of pieces together to climb pretty rapidly. But you are definitely, and one thing you mentioned was the losing streak, you definitely are a factor in why you're losing, or at least not winning, right? There's so many opportunities I think we've identified where like little things you could have done differently would have led to wins.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how we've felt recently, is that we definitely know there's things that we could do to win, but haven't felt like the quote unquote problem. But there's definitely, I mean, there's things I could have done in this game that would have resulted in a win for sure.
And again, there's no point focusing on your teammates, right? Like, yeah, could your teammates have done little things differently in one? Absolutely. But the problem is you can't control their behavior, and you don't even get the same teammates
Yeah,
every game. So
right.
identifying like, oh, the Doomfist could have not, dove in when I dynamited on final point. Okay, but like, how is that going to help me win the next game?
Yeah, for sure. Um, there was, unless you've got any more notes on this game, I wanted to ask you about like um one matchup that I really struggle with, just because I don't have any characters in my pool that I don't have any characters I'm confident enough in my hero pool to deal with Widow, in that um picking Ashe and a Widow feels like a throw, and that's my main. And then it feels like if I pick McCree or Soldier, which are the other two characters I have the most time on, it feels like I'm constantly in a battle of trying to get value and also not peak, because even at this level of play, it seems like if you peak for even half a second, you're dead.
It's a great question. So people talk about Whittle. I mean, like at the end of the day, snipers are snipers, right? There is no replacement for the pure mechanical. There's no counter to the pure mechanical skill of being able to one-shot somebody at any range. There's no magic bullet that I'm going to give you, right? I will say is that all Whittles at all levels miss shots, and understanding why do they miss shots, and even how do I prevent them from shooting at me at all, is the key to performing well. Okay, because even if I'm the Widow, right? Like if I'm playing right here and I'm a Widow and the Widow literally has an aimbot, right? Not like wall hacks. They can't see through walls, but they have like literal aimbot and they'll kill anyone who steps in front of the vision. If you think about it from this perspective, it's like, how can I avoid this Widow shooting at me at all, right? Well, if I go this way, I can put a lot of pressure on her team, right? Even tucking in a little bit more so that she can't shoot me. Or I can go over here, right, and shoot. Or I can go this far and still shoot without the Widow ever being able to see me. And then when she gets distracted by a dive or whatever, then I can go kill her. Right? Same thing. Like Widow's playing over here, like aiming down this way. Can I find a way to jump over here and take the shot? Can I go over here to take a shot? Right? Can I dynamite her around the corner? And also recognizing is that if the Widow is not hitting anything, she's not providing any value. Widow can't get one kill and win a fight. I think this is a very common misconception. If a Widow gets one kill and doesn't hit anybody else the entire fight, that's an even trade. Right? Because if she doesn't do anything, then she's taken herself out of the fight. She only gets one kill. She has to kill two people, right, to actually consistently win fights. So even a Widow's getting one kill every single fight, you're just trading. And trading is not a good plan if you want to climb. So understand the Widow's on the clock, right? She adds no utility, no pressure, right? No damage to shields, no damage to the tank, right? Nothing besides getting kills and to some extent space control. Recognizing, like, look, I can get a ton of value by dynamiting teams and by using Bob to win team fights. And that's how I can win the game without even necessarily killing the Widow. Everyone gets so laser focused, like, oh, I have to kill the Widow to win the game. Sometimes you can't, right? If the Widow plays smart, if their team's like, if she's pocketed by a Mercy, how are you going to kill her? No one's going to kill her, right? It's like so hard. She plays 50 meters away. I have damage fall off, like she's really far, like I'm just never going to kill her. But instead think, okay, what about the team is weak now that they're running a Widow? Obviously, if she's cracked, if she's hitting every shot, you're going to lose no matter what. Like, it is what it is. But I can tell you, at all levels, even in GM, they will not hit every shot. Right? Even in Owl, you watch Widow players, they miss shots all the time. And understanding, hey, they're going to get kills because people are moving in predictable ways. They're running in straight lines. They're not aware of their presence. You're walking close to where her crosshair is. Okay? If she's staring right here, and you just walk left to right, yeah, she's going to kill you. Right? In Diamond, Masters, for sure, you're dead. Like Diamond, I'd say you die 75% of the time. Masters, you're going to die 90% of the time if you just walk out like this. If you're scoped, double that, right? Cap to 100%. So don't challenge her. If she's looking at you, do not be scoped looking at her. That's like a huge mistake. Right? If you see the Widows here, right? She just took a shot at you, you get body shot or something, you're at 20 health, don't scope out here and fight her. Just go to the other side and re-peek from a different angle. Or, and this is kind of funny, you can re-peek from farther away too. Or you could even coach gun up if she's low and one tap her, right, as another option. So my general tips are like, understand, like, think of her as like a turret. Okay, she's standing in a spot. Identify where she is and identify where she's looking, and don't be where she is looking, and that will get you a long, long way against Widow. I don't think a hero choice is necessarily effective unless you want to, like, because even people are like, oh, Genji's good against Widow. That's not necessarily true. right? Depends how far the way to Widow is. Depends on the map geometry. If she's being pocketed, the Genji will never do anything against her, right? My friend was a Grandmaster Genji, and he's like, I hate playing against Widows because they're always pocketed and he can't kill them. It's not that simple. So, but understanding the limitations of Widow, like she's got to get 2 kills. Her ultimate does more or less nothing, right? It's nowhere close to as strong as Bob, for example. And understand when ultimates pop, she only has 15 seconds to use it. So you can look at the clock and be like, hey, 15 seconds, great, I can peek again. Like all those things are valuable tips to play against Widow.
Gotcha.
Other questions?
I think I'm okay. Yeah, this has been really helpful. It's kind of highlighted some issues that I definitely think a big one was that I was, I guess, a background. I play MMOs at a pretty high level, and you want to do your ABCs. You'll always be casting. So my brain is, hey, I need to get dynamite off of cooldown so that I can get another one quicker.
Yep.
So I look to get my dynamite off cooldown as fast as possible. When if I would have just, like you said, waited that couple more seconds, the value that I got from one dynamite could have been the value of 4 dynamites on one target. So.
Exactly. Yeah, and I totally get that. As also an MMO player, not I wouldn't say super high level, but I understand that the urge to be efficient, right? Putting things on cooldown maximizes your overall DPS against the static target. But Overwatch obviously isn't like that. And you see that a lot from Ana players too. Every single time sleep and cooldown or a grenade are available, they toss it, right away, because they're like, oh, I'll get another one. But the thing is, the higher you go, people will track your abilities. If they know, like the Sojourn, right? Sojourn's not going to want to fight you if you have dynamite, because you pop dynamite and that's 150 damage right there. It's very, very hard for her to deal with that. But if she sees you chuck dynamite towards her team, now she can dive you, and now you're in trouble, right? So even just holding on to it can be surprisingly good value, right? Just because it forces the enemy team to play differently.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else?
I'm good. Thank you very much. This has been, like I said, immensely helpful. Really appreciate it.
Great. Yep. Nope. It was a good time. All right. I'm going to end the call there. Thank you very much.
All right. Peace, brother. Take it easy.